Hey guys, this is KSP with Tape, and today you join me for episode 21 of Solar Civilization, and today we start with kind of the main bit that needs to be added to the EVE Explorer. It's the drive section, because I've been working on it for a while, but I've also been working on other things because it's kind of boring to, just have tons of orbital construction, but we need to get it done because in 17 days there will be a Kerbal to EVE window, that I'd very much like to make because I really want to be going to other planets, and I'm about 25 days away from getting to Duna, which I sent ages ago, and really actually just want to get there now and do some stuff. But yeah, I started doing loads of these episodes and kind of slowed down because I was putting out way too many and stuff. But anyway, this is launching on the new launch vehicle that I was kind of testing a bit last episode. It's not in reusable format because that's just difficult. This is just a test flight, so make sure it works at all. But eventually I'd like to have it reusable because, with the advent of career mode, that's going to be, the advent of costs in career mode, that's going to be very important. This isn't actually quite powerful enough to lift the payload it's lifting right now, which is about 35 tons, but the payload has fuel on it, so I'm thinking it'll be fine. I think it can lift about 30 tons, which is better than the Triton 1, which lifts 20 tons, so, I want more lifting capability. And it does fall short of orbital velocity by about 100 meters a second, so I'm thinking 30 tons would be fine. So yeah, I'll just feed some fuel in there and speed up. Yeah, so I'm just gonna obviously do the standard rendezvous thing, rendezvousing with a spacecraft that I usually do, and it takes a while to plan, so I'm just gonna skip ahead, there you go, until I'm right next to it, because you've seen me do these a million times, and this was just a long one, and, well, why bother watching it again? I'm sure it would just be boring. But anyway, I'll just get rid of this RCS tug now, because I no longer have any use for it. Well, I kind of do have use for it, but there's no space for it anymore. I need to put this on. There's no RCS control on this, and it has to dock to the only docking port on the drive section, so I'm going to maneuver in the whole EVE Explorer spacecraft, which should be fun, using horribly unbalanced RCS. So that'll be fun. But anyway, it's not that difficult. I've done so much docking with stupid spacecraft now that I'm pretty used to it. Or docking with, like, one RCS port or something stupid like that. Maybe I'll try that one day. Although it's kind of like just docking with an engine. I had this really stupid docking just recently. I was doing some interstellar, and it was, I had to, like, manually maneuver it with a Kerbal as the only drive system. And just trying to torque these spacecrafts around and use a Kerbal to try and push parts around balanced, and one of them was kind of a dead weight because it had no probe on it, so it had no RCS control, so it was just falling around, and it was really a bad idea. I need to plan my spacecraft better. But anyway, this is obviously all still sped up because, again, another boring docking, and you might as well watch it at 4 times time accelerate because it took a while. Not all of this will be at 4 times time accelerate, and a bit later there is some interesting stuff that you'll probably want to see. But I do tend to put most of the boring, well, maybe not boring, just like stuff that you see all the time, like launches and docking. I tend to put them at 4 times time accelerate because, might as well. Anyway, let's just get rid of this launch bit, this kind of transfer stage now. We'll just use the monopropellant to deorbit because I don't have any fuel left on it. I was thinking of putting like an ion-powered debris deorbiter in there, but I actually did that in another save and it got kind of boring. But anyway, that was weird. I kind of pronounced anyway in like a really weird accent. Anyway, yeah, another shuttle mission. This is taking a probe to orbit. The probe to attach to the EVE Explorer. There will need to be another one taken, and the other one will also need to take a little bit of extra equipment because there may be a docking port compatibility issue coming up. Anyway, yeah, let's just ditch them and push this on into orbit. I think this is one of the heavier payloads it's lifted. I'm not entirely sure how heavy, but, the shuttle is surprisingly capable, and I'm going to upgrade it a bit, because B9 has a really nice inline, inline SAS unit, so I don't have to have the one in the cargo bay, so I have more cargo bay space. The B9 one is also lighter, so I'll have more lifting capability, and it's, like, lighter by, like, 0.4 tons, so, that's always good. And that'll just generally make this shuttle better. Anyway, yeah, let's just push ourselves into orbit, and extend those solar panels, even though this is in the dark. It is in the dark, but I'm using the ambient light mod, so it should look pretty good. because I never really think, when I'm playing by myself, I never really think about, oh yeah, it's in the dark. And now I've got the ambient light mod, I don't need to worry too much because, you know, it doesn't look too terrible on YouTube, which is nice. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close. I think I'm in orbit now. I'm pretty close to the target, and I still have tons of fuel left in this fuel tank. So I'm thinking, yeah, I can probably lift more than whatever I'm lifting right now. The shuttle is pretty capable, but I've just unlocked Rapier engines, and soon I'll have like Saber engines. So, I mean, soon I'm gonna have some SSTOs that'll be more capable than the shuttle. So I want to get as many shuttle missions out of this as possible before I have to shut the shuttle program down, because, you know, no one wants that. You can probably tell that I'm really, I don't know, I kind of messed up the maneuvers into the target for a while until I figured out how to, you know, not be stupid. Which is actually a very hard thing for me because I'm pretty stupid. No, but anyway, we're pretty close now, and just moving in quite nicely. Yeah, that's just it's again standard kind of rendezvous. But I've noticed again that I haven't another thing I want to change on the next shuttle I build is I want to rebalance the RCS. The two ports on the front should be slightly further back because it's kind of unbalanced right now, and that's been kind of annoying me. But anyway, we're getting pretty close now, and I'm going to stop about 300 meters away because, well, there's no point in having the shuttle too close because with the probe can fly itself in, and it's better to have more time when you're docking with an engine and no RCS because you want to have time to turn around and stuff, so that's all part of it. Yeah, and I'm getting surprisingly bad frame rates with stuff recently. I think it's just all the mods, especially on the one where I use clouds. I have a personal save where I use clouds and Interstellar, and it just like runs awfully. But 64-bit is coming, so that's good. Be able to use all our memory. Actually, you can already if you have Linux, if you're a smart person. I actually don't have Linux anymore. Did, then my graphics card was like, I don't really like Linux, so get Windows now. Anyway, let's decouple this and send it off flying into space because of, you know, kind of glitching, but it didn't break, which I was surprised about. But anyway, I need to, you know, move in towards the target using only the engine, and then not dock because I realized about now that I was like, oh yeah, I don't have small docking ports on the Eve Explorer. I was supposed to bring in an adapter. So the next mission will be bringing one of these probes, 2 docking adapters, and some RCS, because let's face it, if I'm going to do 2 dockings, I'm going to want some RCS. So that'll be a pretty heavy payload, and I am going to launch it on Shuttle if I can fit it in the cargo bay, and I think that'll be quite interesting, because I really want to know how much this shuttle can actually lift. I've kind of given it smaller payloads, and I want to see if it's actually, you know, capable, because it's a pretty good shuttle, actually. But anyway, I'll stop it here, and just kind of, I guess just leave it and hope it doesn't drift too far away from the Eve Explorer. I need to come up with a better name. I'm thinking Venus, just because, you know, Eve, Venus, or if anyone else has a better name, you know, please tell me and stuff. Be like, oh, I have a cool name, stop being stupid. Anyway, let's fly the shuttle back, and let's see how that goes. Not a great, yeah, what is this one? This is, I think, Shuttle Neptune. Yeah, Space Shuttle Mark 1.2 Neptune, I think it's called, yeah. But yeah, hopefully I'll get an upgraded one. I tend to upgrade them slightly when I crash them because every time I crash a shuttle, I rename it because, you know, it's like the real shuttle when they crashed, when Columbia burned up or when Challenger exploded. They built new ones and gave them renames until they had, I think they had Discovery, Endeavour, and the other one. Why can I never remember the other one? There's Discovery, Endeavour, and Atlantis. They had, I think they had all 3 of them at the same time, and they even rolled, I think, Discovery and Endeavour out onto the pad at the same time. But yeah, so they had 3, and Endeavour was always the best because it was the newest, and they did slight upgrades. And I always tend to do slight upgrades, like the new SAS unit, different, like I moved the wings around a bit. Oh, and the ambient light was way up then. It just looked kind of really white. So I toned it down for a while just because I don't like to have the ambient light on too much in the light because it looks kind of, I don't know, the game looks kind of weird with it. But anyway, I slowly kind of phase in the ambient light on the way back because, I don't know, I felt like it, I guess. But yeah, when it gets into the dark, I will be landing in the dark because just, you know, convenience for me. And ambient light, so you'll be fine. I do love the ambient light mod. I don't know if I say that enough, because I say it all the time and constantly, but I do love the mod, because then I don't have to worry about night and day in videos. But anyway, yeah, it's just going to be a standard return. I've done this quite a few times in this series, and as I always say, like a ridiculous amount in total, because I've had 3 career modes now where I've used this shuttle. So I've landed it a lot of times. And I still love landing it because it makes you feel pretty good when you land. It's pretty cool to return an SSTO and land it, but that has engine, so if you screw up, it's like, I can just fly back. But this is basically a dead weight that glides a bit. So when you return this, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty great human. I'm basically the best human. That's how you feel. So yeah, return this and you'll get some ridiculous feelings of awe. Anyway, yeah, I did come back a little too early, so I was burning up too quickly. So I just glided out of it, gained some more altitude, and just kind of put myself down again. Probably a little too late now, but I have air brakes, so it's always better to kind of be too close to the space center than too far away, because these air brakes give me like a G of deceleration somehow, because they, I don't know, it's a game. It's like ion drives give you 4 kilonewtons of thrust. In real life, they give you the best ones about 2.5 newtons of thrust, which is like really little, but because you can just leave them on for like a year, it's fine, it works out pretty good. Anyway, we're getting some really nice flames. I do like how, I still love how all the flames look. I think that's the best bit of the game. I don't care about career mode or persistence or other planets, just the burning. They could have just left it at kind of the really old version and put the burning in. I would have been happy. No, I do love where the game is. And I was Googling things about Kerbal Space Program because, I was in computing and that was boring. What the hell? It looked really glitchy there. I don't know. And anyway, I was looking at the KSP future stuff, and apparently they want to put in 2 more gas giants, which would be awesome. But anyway, now we're coming in for the landing and squaring up, and totally not editing out quick saves there. Ha 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 ha. I think that's what that jumping around was. I edited this yesterday, so I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure I was quick saving, because this was really hard to land, as you may see in a bit. No spoilers, obviously. But anyway, this is back on 1x time accelerate, because I was coming down really steep. This was just a bad return, really. I'm air braking and stuff, and this looked kind of flat, and I was kind of happy, but then I realized I was going too far to the side, and I yawed, and that went badly. And I'm trying to flare, but I'm coming down too hard, and I bounce, and I lose control, and I abort, but only one of them gets out. So we did lose a Kerbal, but one of them got out, so be happy and stuff. He's pretty great. Nailbart Kerman, I believe you will be, I don't know, some kind of awesome pilot. Talking of which, I believe Nailbart is flying my new spacecraft called Black Soul Mark 1. This has missiles on it. Yes, and it is an SSTO. I have been kind of just doing random missile things, but I want a proper fighter. This is a space fighter. And we've picked up an enemy satellite above KSC that has not been put there for storytelling and may be called totally not a spy satellite. But yeah, the military have found this satellite and have been very angry, so they put together their own fighter and have sent Nailbart, a freaking badass, up to take it out, like a day after his crash as well, because, oh no, like an hour after his crash. 5 minutes after he crashed a shuttle, they were like, get in this plane, go, now, you got stuff to do, don't be a pussy, go, now. That's what they said to him. Yeah, I quite like this plane because I use really small wings, and that's so there's not too much mass in space. It has pretty terrible lift, as you may see in a bit. But I quite like how it looks. It's all compact and stuff, and it has an air intake on the top because I needed those places where I'd normally put intakes to mount missiles, basically. But yeah, using one Rapier engine, because you only really need one for light craft, even though this is surprisingly heavy. But yeah, this gets into orbit with tons of fuel. Yeah, you can see the satellite targeted there. Just passed over KSC, probably spying on all our stuff, because storytelling and stuff, Black Soul Mark 1, and totally not a spy satellite, that's what it's called, because it's totally not a spy satellite. But our geniuses back at the lab managed to figure out that it was a spy satellite, because, I mean, it's called totally not a spy satellite, obviously. Anyway, I can just basically burn from here and get an intersect, so that's what I do. Get myself a nice intersect. Basically a perfect launch there. Nailbart is a freaking awesome pilot. Although he did just crash the shuttle and his co-pilot did die, so, I don't know what they thought qualified him for this. Anyway, turn the ambient light up target totally not a spy satellite and fly over to it. Just kind of fly over. I want to be about 200 meters away to fire the missiles because they need to gain speed. These are, I think I called them Hellfire missiles once. They're just basically engines, small fuel tanks, and those nose cones on the end for a little bit more damage. I don't have any RCS, which was kind of an oversight. Well, I have a monopropellant, but no thrusters. Anyway, I'll aim using the cockpit, and I'll slow this down for the launching of the missiles, because, you know, stuff's cool. Pretty nicely aimed. Oh yeah, now we're into 1x time accelerate. Shut down that engine, because I need to throttle up for igniting the engines on the missiles. Let's just throttle up nicely, and ignite the engines and let them go. And watch a big fiery explosion. That was really cool. Knocked out some of the solar panels. I imagine it would pretty much have smashed up the computer systems now, so we can not worry about totally not a spy satellite, even though we didn't destroy the probe core. A little disappointed, but pretty happy with that. That was first try I hit it. Because a lot of the time I don't hit it on the first try. But anyway, I'm just gonna rebalance some fuel. And then just go back, really, because there's no point staying in space for long, and if I stay for more than a day, I'm pretty much going to die. And Nelbart survived a shuttle crash, so, you know, we don't want him to die because of lack of food. I mean, come on. That'd be ridiculous. And maybe there'll be some more drama on landing, and he'll be able to sort his way out of that, but this has no abort system, so, I mean, how would he even do that? We may see. What? I'm the worst with spoilers. But yeah, let's fly back. The one thing I'm worried about is last time I flew a really small SSTO, it just kind of broke apart because it's using all these little parts. So I'm thinking I might build a bigger, better one to make me less scared. But anyway, I need to deorbit. I'm going to deorbit past put my periaps way further past the KSC than I usually do because this has like no lift. It's like a lifting body. It's going to probably have a similar descent to like the real space shuttle because tiny wings. And I'm thinking Ferrum Aerospace probably doesn't like the double wing thing as much as normal Kerbal Space Program would, but whatever. And I've realized there's a huge amount of drag where those missiles are because it's just straight up like flat surfaces. So let's hope that goes well. But yeah, I've left the coming back sped up because, well, it's just, you know, it's just coming back in a plane. You've seen it quite a few times now. And it's whatever, you know. It's just sped up because, well, or it would be a really long video as well. I don't know why I feel the need to justify speeding up time in videos every time I do it. But anyway, yeah, starting to burn up kind of at the right time, but we're also falling quite fast. And I've got to transfer fuel because this is actually kind of unstable because, you know, I didn't plan this very well. But yeah, again, flames look really nice. Do love that cockpit. I really hope one day they do a stock cockpit for the other one. Oh, and we get some explosions. That was just the docking ports that the missiles are on. Those were docking ports that the missiles were mounted on, because then you can reload them if you keep it in space. Yeah. Anyway, I'll spool up the engine because, well, because the engine needs to be on because this glides like a brick, basically. And, you know, bricks aren't great for gliding. So, you know, we'll just fly on back. It has a pretty long range. I mean, it's a very light aircraft, mainly fuel tanks, one engine. I mean, Rapier engines aren't brilliantly efficient, but, you know, they'll get the job done. And I'm still going pretty fast. So you just travel really fast and really high up, and you get pretty good efficiency, basically. Yeah, although this is kind of unstable. I do want to build a much nicer atmospheric fighter, but this isn't an atmospheric fighter. This can't really fight in the atmosphere because I know I can't do dogfights really. Although I did see some videos of people actually doing dogfights, and like, I don't know how he did that, but it was like a YouTube ad and then stuff happened and then I got confused. Then I think I bought a timeshare? I don't know. No, but it's not meant for atmospheric fighting because it kind of controls in the atmosphere like, kind of like dying. And it doesn't turn very well, and if you go too slowly, like, it only really flies very well below Mach 1. No, above Mach 1. So you can't really turn on Mach 1. And the missiles aren't designed for an atmosphere. It's just a clusterfuck if you fire a fighter in the atmosphere. But anyway, I need to slow down now because we're just going to go right past the KSC. And this is at 4 times time accelerate. So I'm not actually going like 2,000 meters a second. But if I was, that would be deadly, I bet. And then I turn up and it breaks and I'm like, oh my god. this looks bad. No abort system. Forgot that turning up really hard while going 500 meters a second in the atmosphere basically kills you. But I have a plan. He'll bail out at the last second, and he does, and the explosion carries him free of the craft. And I'm very happy. God, I should have slowed that down. But basically, I just popped out at the last second, and he survived another crash, not like 2 hours after the last crash. And I put down a flag to commemorate that called "Ha, I Win" floor. Anyway, that was awesome, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Yeah, this has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.